things just got extremely interesting for the Minnesota Wild. They have a major decision to make on their free agency plans, with many ideas coming out. A recent report has revealed Mitch Marner as another top candidate for the Minnesota Wild in free agency. We're going to be breaking down what's going to be happening, and is this really possible from the Minnesota Wild here in this video. Very quickly, before we jump into it, be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. Your guys' support has been absolutely insane as of late. We're over past 1,000 subscribers, and we're keep on going, so be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We know that just over 90% of you guys watching have not done so already, but once again, I appreciate all your support, and we appreciate all your support here, and we have a lot of Wild content coming, so you won't want to miss it. Without any further ado, let's get into our first topic here of the video, starting off with a quote from Joe Smith and Michael Russo from an Athletic article going over the candidates for the Minnesota Wild. Starting off here with the focus this summer should be on providing a boost offensively to the forward group. There are some options out there with Sam Bennett, Brock Boeser, and Brock Nelson among notable free agents if the Wild aren't able to get in the Mitch Marner sweepstakes. And that end part there is the most important thing of this. We've seen videos from Sam Bennett, Brock Boeser, Brock Nelson, from Mark and Josh. Both of those, or all three of those, I guess we could say, options would be very smart for the Minnesota Wild, but I think the big fish is the one that the Wild are really looking for. They're looking to make that splash. They're looking to make a guy go out here, get multiple 100-point seasons, and Mitch Marner, of this list, is the guy that would do so. Now, we know Mitch Marner has had an illustrious career so far with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're looking at him as an option that is possible. However, there are many restrictions that would come to this. And Mitch Marner this season, another phenomenal season from him with the Toronto Maple Leafs. 81 games played, 102 points, just turned 28 years old a few days ago. Happy belated birthday, Mitch. But he has been a very talented player on the ice, and is someone that every team that he's been on, the London Knights, the Toronto Maple Leafs, Team Canada, they love him. Every player has said Mitch Marner is such a great guy, and that's just part of his whole idea of being a very popular free agent for many teams, playing 22 minutes, or nearly 22 minutes time on ice, 102 points, while being the best player on the Maple Leafs this season above Austin Matthews. He's going to be looking for a major contract this season, looking to secure his future. Now, we know the Minnesota Wild are getting quite a bit of cap space from the free agent pool, with the exception, or the removal, I should say, of Zach Parise and Ryan Suter's contract. Finally, after years of being locked up, much money is coming into this Wild team. Now, there are some issues when it does come down to it of how the Wild would be able to do this. And obviously, Mitch Marner is one that everybody would love to have on this team. A very talented puck mover, goal scorer, skater. He's a very, very good player. And if the Wild are looking to add to their forward group, top six, that is the option. That is a very, very good option. Not just the option, but the best option. And when we look at Mitch Marner as well, and looking kind of what we're going to be diving into here in a moment is his contract, and comparing that to the Wild next season, they're going to have just under $21 million in cap space at the end of this. Now, that comes as well with Brock Faber's contract already loaded into that, I should say, and we're going to know that we have to make some free agent signings. Now, whether, of course, that is going to be Mitch Marner, still yet to be determined, but that is enough money to do so. And once again, we're going to be diving into the specifics here in a moment. But when we're looking at this, we have the Kirill Kaprizov contract that we're going to need to be signed. Some other players that are going to need to be re-signed down the line, of course. Now the Wild have the capability of doing another buyout and having that confidently. Now, we've gone over a few other players and options that could be for the buyout, so be sure to go check that video out a few ones ago. But it really does reveal that the Wild have the money to spend, are looking to spend, and it's been no surprise that when we head back to this quote here from The Athletic, from Michael Russo and Joe Smith, that they're going to be boosting this offense and the forward group here in this summer. And that's what we've seen John Hynes, Bill Guerin say, and Michael Russo and Joe Smith have been very adamant about that. Now, when they also look at the future of this team, Michael Russo has been very on top and has revealed that it's probably an 85% chance now that Marco Rossi is going to be traded by this team, which once again opens another need for an offensive talent, another offensive goal scorer up front, and Mitch Marner fills that, although not a center, which they're going to need to once again go out and get. They have a few, but whether they're not or they're NHL ready, still yet to be really determined and kind of looked at. But when we look at Mitch Marner, who's currently making just under $11 million, 10.9 to be exact, in the final year of his deal, 28 years old, he's looking for another big contract. And we can pretty comfortably assume right now that it will be over $11 million. It likely could be up to $14 million We are not really sure on a number yet. We've seen some projections, we've seen some thoughts, but when it comes down to the AFP contract, who takes their analytics, goes over their stats, and kind of puts into perspective about how much they play, how much their production is, to how much they make, we're looking at somewhere around 12.9 million, 13 million, we'll call it, for 7 years, which is honestly less than I thought. So looking at this, comparing it to the Wild's, what they have in 20 million next season, 20 and a half, that is not a bad chunk of money to go out and spend on a guy like Mitch Marner, who you know will have an immediate impact on your team. And when we've been able to see Mitch Marner play, there's a major difference between Eastern Conference and Western Conference hockey. And in my mind, he fits more of that Western Conference hockey style of play, which quick on his feet, good puck mover, great shot. It really just suits a Western Conference team, and for a team who's looking to go out here and add to this forward group, I see Mitch Marner fitting in phenomenally on this team. When you have a first line of Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, Boldy, Foligno, Rossi, and Zuccarello as a second line, which is battling for change. This, of course, features none of the free agents that they have or any UFAs, RFAs that will be featured here in this offseason or any UFAs, sorry. Marco Rossi, of course, is there, but any UFAs there on this side of things. There is some room to add. There's some room to remove. Of course, there's some big names there that are making quite a bit of money. Yakov Trenin, 3.5. It's a bit too much money for him in my liking. Marcus Foligno, also a big contract, but he's there for a reason. The Wild do have room to make some moves up and down the lineup. So before we kind of take a look at everything else, another very interesting look as an article from a year ago will state as well. Let me know in the comments below. Do you want to see Mitch Marner? I feel like there's a lot of controversy around Mitch Marner when it comes down to his attitude for, every kind of team basis fans when it comes to should Mitch Marner be signed by that team. But looking at purely skill, purely fit for the Minnesota Wild, what do you think about Mitch Marner? Do you think he'll fit? Do you think he'd be a great option? And of course, the way that Michael Russo and Joe Smith said this here in this article, if they are in the sweepstakes for Mitch Marner, they should certainly go after him here. So let me know what you think about that as well. But of course, we still have more to cover here in this one. And when we look at Mitch Marner's stats over the past few seasons, this is actually his first 100-point year in the NHL. But when we go back through seasons past, every single season back since 21-22, if he had played a full season, full 82, or even was just a bit higher pace, he would have been reaching that 100-point stat. So, of course, missing a few games, you can't expect people to play 82 every season. We only saw it from two players this year, Marco Rossi and Matt Boldy, for the Wild this season. But looking back as, this year, 102, of course, got it. 69 games, 85 points. 80 games, 99 points. 72, 97 points. We could see a 100-point season easily in every single one of those. And when we go to the playoff stats as well for him, but pretty consistent once again as well. 12 points in 9 games played this year for him in the playoffs. Very, very good. Don't take many penalties, which is something as well that the Wild really need to get better at. I think is one thing that I think we can safely say the Wild are not great at right now. But when we go past a few seasons as well, very, very good production in the playoffs. So hopefully, we see the Wild at least in on this. I'm expecting there are at least going to be some conversations, whether or not they go into advanced talks or advanced, negotiations, and whether or not Mitch Marner actually makes free agency. It's still all yet to be determined, but when we look at that, let me know what you think. But one final screenshot here, which is a very interesting one from just about a year ago today, actually. Today, May 11th. I believe this was May 10th of 2024. This is something that was reported from the Hockey Wilderness on this idea. So I'll post all these links as well in the comments below. But Marner's a no-movement clause, which, of course, that prevents the Wild and Leafs from making a trade. But, however, the Wild may get Marner to waive his no-move clause and make a Matthew Tkachuk as a comparison trade example from Marner. So this was a year ago, of course, but even back then, the Wild were still linked to Mitch Marner, still the idea of trading for him, signing him. Although this trade did feature Matt Boldy here, that's not going to happen anymore. We know that. The signing could still come, and much better decision to go and spend your money on him rather than making that trade and sign. So let me know what you think in the comments below about all this. I think Mitch Marner is a very interesting option and would change everything the Wild had planned for free agency. So let me know what you think in the comments below. That's all I got here in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.